Hello students, in this video we are going to study our next chapter, that is chapter number 9. The chapter name is Reproduction in Animals, Class 8, Subject Science and CERT. In this chapter we are going to study different modes of reproduction in animals. In that we are going to study the sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction. In the earlier class 7 you had already studied the reproduction in plants. So in this chapter we are going to study the reproduction process in animals. So here let me start. So do you recall the process of digestion, circulation and respiration which you have studied in the previous class? These processes are essential for the survival of every individual. As in the previous classes we had already studied about these different processes like digestion, circulation of blood and oxygen in our body, then after respiration process. So these all processes are necessary for the survival of any individual. And you have also learned about the process of reproduction in plants. So the reproduction is also necessary or essential for the continuation for a species. Imagine what would have happened if this organism had not reproduced. If the organisms do not reproduce, then imagine what would happen. It may be possible the time will come when there will be no any organism on the earth. If the reproduction process is not there, then there will be the time when any organism will not exist on the earth. So for that, for the continuation of the species, the reproduction is necessary. And you will realize that this reproduction is very important as it ensures the continuation of similar kinds of individuals generation after generation. By this reproduction, there is the continuation of the different kinds of individual or same kind of individual generation after this generation. You have already learned in your previous class about the reproduction in the plants. So in this chapter we shall learn how reproduction take place in the animals. So let me first see different modes of reproduction. So have you seen the young ones of different animals? Try to name some of these young ones by completing this table 9.1 which is given to you here, and here two examples are given to you for the first one. This one is the table 9.1. For the first one, like human, the young one of the human is known as the baby. Here another is given to you about animal. Name of the animal is hen and the young one is known as the chick. Like that, the young one of cat is known by the kitten. The young one of animal dog is known by the puppy. The butterfly, the young ones of the butterfly is known as the caterpillar. Then after next is cow. So the young ones of cow is known as the calf. And frog, last one. So the young one of frog is known as the tadpole. So these are the different names of the different young ones of these different animals. So you must have seen that the young ones of various animals being born, they are different. And now can you tell how the chicks and caterpillar are born? How are these kitten and puppies born? Do you think that these young ones look the same before they were born as they do now? So let us find out some of this question by this chapter. So just as in plants there are two modes by which the animals reproduce, and these two different modes are sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction. So in that first one is sexual reproduction. So try to recall the reproduction in plants which you had studied in class 7. You will remember that plants that reproduce sexually have males and female reproductive parts. So now can you name these reproductive parts in plants? So in plants we have studied that the female reproductive part is known as the pistil and the male reproductive part in the plants is known as the stamen. So these are the reproductive parts in the plants. So now like this in animals also, the male and females have different reproductive parts, or you can say organs. Like plants, the reproductive parts in animals also produce gametes that fuse to form a zygote. In that the gametes are there, and this gamete fuse with each other, or you can say mix with each other, and at the end they form the zygote. And it is the zygote which develops into a new individual. This is the first step. After developing this zygote, the further development occur as the new individual. And this type of reproduction beginning from the fusion of male and female gametes is called sexual reproduction, in which the female and male gametes fuse with each other. So this kind of reproduction is known as the sexual reproduction. So now let us find the reproductive parts in the human and study the process of the reproduction in the human. So here first it is given to you about male reproductive organs. So the male reproductive organs include pair of testes, and its singular form is also known as the testes. The spelling is different, pronunciation is same. Then after 2 sperm ducts and penis. These parts are shown to you here in the figure. Here the testis is shown to you, so pair of testis is there. Then after 2 sperm ducts are there and a penis is there. So these are the reproductive part, male reproductive part in the human. The testes produce the male gametes called sperms. These testes produce the male gametes which is known as the sperm, and millions of sperms are produced by the testes. And here in the next picture or figure, the sperm is also shown to you. This one is the human sperm, and which shows here in the figure, it shows the sperm, and those sperms are very small in size. These are very small in size. However, it has head, middle piece and a tail. So now does it appear to be a single cell? What do you think? Is it a single cell? So obviously it is the single cell. So sperm is a single cell and with all the usual cell component. It also contains all the usual or required cell component, and sperm is the single cell. So here the different parts of the sperm is also shown to you. Now Paheli has some question that what is the purpose does the tail in a sperm serve? What is the purpose of tail in the sperm? So this tail here in the figure, as we had seen, tail is there. So this tail gives the movement to this sperm, and by this tail it can move or it can fuse with egg or female gametes easily. So this is the function of the tail. It gives the movement to the sperm. So this is about male reproductive organs. Now next is female reproductive organs. So the female reproductive organs are a pair of ovaries, oviducts, or it is also known as the fallopian tubes, and uterus. Here in the figure it is shown to you. This one is the uterus, this one is the ovary, and 2 ovaries are there, and this one is the oviduct, or it is also known as the fallopian tube. So the ovary produce the female gametes called ova or eggs. This produce the female gametes which is known as the ova or eggs, and in human beings a single mature egg is released into the oviduct by one of the ovaries every month. By this ovary, one by one, 2 ovaries are there, one by one at every month a mature egg released in this oviduct or in the fallopian tube. And uterus is the part where development of baby take place. Like sperms and egg is also a single cell. Here in the uterus the development of the baby take place, and like the sperm, this mature egg or an egg in the female body is also a single cell. Here the picture of the human ovum. Ova, that means the eggs or female gametes in the human. The singular for that is ovum. So here the picture or figure of the ovum is shown to you. This one is the nucleus of this ovum. Now Bujoho recalls that the size of the eggs in animals varies. That means they are different. The egg may be very small as in humans. As in the humans, the size of the eggs is very small and much larger in the hens. In hence, the size of this egg is larger. Like an other animal about this is given to you that you had already known, that ostrich egg is the largest single cell. Ostrich egg is single cell and it is the largest single cell. Now next is fertilization. How the fertilization take place? So the first step in the process of reproduction is the fusion of a sperm and an ovum. Fusion, that means mixing of the sperm and the female gamete, that is ovum. When the sperm comes in contact with the egg, one of the sperms may fuse with the egg, and such fusion of the egg and sperm is called the fertilization. Here in the next picture it is shown to you here. This one here, as it is shown to you, this one is the ovum, and when the sperms comes in contact with the ovum, it gets fused with each other, and the fusion of this egg and the sperm is known as the fertilization. And during this fertilization, the nuclei of the sperm and egg, that means the nucleus of the sperm and nucleus of the egg, fuse with each other to form a single nucleus, and this result in the formation of the fertilized egg, or you can say zygote. And this fertilized egg is known as the zygote, that is shown to you here, fusing of nuclei, the nucleus of sperm and nucleus of ovum, and this is known as the zygote. Now did you know that the zygote is the beginning of the new individual? Now from this zygote, the new individual starts developing. So the process of this fertilization is the meeting of an egg cell from the mother and a sperm cell from the father. So the new individual inherits, that means it carries some characteristics from mother and some from the father. Some of your characteristics may be similar to you as your mother, and some of them is similar to your father. Look at your brother and sister and see if you can recognize some characters in them similar to those of your mother and of your father. Like your brother or sister may also carry some of the characteristics like your father or your mother. Now fertilization, which take place inside the female body, is called internal fertilization. And this internal fertilization occurs in many animals, including ours, that means including humans, cows, dogs and hens. So this is the internal fertilization. Now here one fact, another information is given to you. Have you ever heard of test tube babies? So Bujoho and Pahalis teacher once told them in the class that in some women oviducts are blocked. Now in such cases the oviducts are blocked, so this is why this woman unable to bear babies, because sperms cannot reach the egg for the fertilization. So the fertilization cannot take place inside the female body. In such cases, doctor collects freshly released egg and sperms and keep them together for a few hours for IVF, that means in vitro fertilization, or you can say fertilization which take place outside the body, that is known as the IVF or in vitro fertilization. In such cases, doctor collect fresh release egg and sperms and keep them together for few hours. And in case fertilization occurs, the zygote is allowed to develop for about a week, and then it is placed in the mother's uterus. And if the fertilization take place, then they allow the zygote to develop about a week, and then after they place this zygote in the mother's uterus. And complete development then after take place in the uterus, and the baby is born like any other baby. And babies born through this technique are called test tube babies. And this term is actually misleading because babies cannot grow in the test tube. Some people mislead this term as from the name that test tube babies. These babies cannot grow in the test tube, so that's why the zygote is placed in the mother's uterus after it's get developed. So this is about test tube baby. Now you will be surprised to know that in many animals the fertilization take place outside the body of the female. And in these animals, the fertilization take place in water. So now how the fertilization take place, let me find out. For that, one activity is given here, activity number 9.1. If you had ever visited the ponds or slow flowing stream during the spring or rainy season, then you might notice that clusters, or you can say groups of frogs' egg which are floating in the water. So you may notice, it may be possible that you notice the color and size of this egg. So during the spring or rainy season, frogs and toads move in the ponds and slow flowing streams. And when the male and female come together in water, the female lays hundreds of eggs. The female frog lays hundreds of eggs in the water. Unlike the hen's egg, the frog's egg is not covered by a shell and it is comparatively very delicate. And the layer of the jelly holds the eggs together and it provides protection to the eggs. Here in the figure it is shown to you. Here you can see black color, that is the egg which is covered by the jelly-like structure. So this jelly-like structure or layer hold the eggs together and it provides the protection to the eggs. Like the hen's egg, this frog's egg do not have any protective layer or hard shell. Now as the eggs are laid, the male deposits sperms over the egg. And each sperm swims randomly in the water with the help of its long tail. It also has the long tail and they swim randomly in the water. The sperms comes in contact with the eggs and this results in the fertilization. If the sperms comes in contact with egg, then it results in the fertilization, and this type of fertilization in which the fusion of these female gametes and male gametes take place outside of the female body is called the external fertilization. And it is very common in aquatic animals such as fish, starfish, etc. This type of fertilization is very common in the aquatic animals like frog, then after fish, starfish, etc. So now Bujaho has questioned that why do fish and frogs lay eggs in hundreds whereas a hen lays only one egg at a time? So here Paheli has the answer for this, that though these animals lay hundreds of eggs and release millions of sperms, all the eggs do not get fertilized and develop into a new individual. However, they are releasing the hundreds or thousands or millions of eggs and sperms. All the eggs do not get fertilized and develop into new individuals. This is because the eggs and sperms get exposed to water movement, then after wind. As they do not have any protective layer, they face these all factors like water movement, wind and rainfall, and also there are other animals in the pond which may feed on eggs. That means they are eating these eggs. So thus the production of large numbers of eggs and sperms is necessary to ensure the fertilization of at least few of them. However, they are releasing this much amount of eggs and sperm, only the fertilization of only few of them are happen, make it possible. So this is the reason why they are releasing this amount of eggs and sperms. Now Bujaho has questioned that how could a single cell become such a big individual? We had seen that after the fusion it is the single cell, so single cell zygote, so how it develops become an big individual. So let me see for that. Next is development of embryo. So the fertilization results in the formation of zygote which begins to develop into an embryo. In the figure next A is shown to you here. You can see here the ovary is there, then after ovulation is there. Ovulation, that means from the ovary the release of the egg or ovum is known as the ovulation. So after here the female gametes and male gametes get fused and they form the zygote. Now this zygote will then after lay down to the uterus through this fallopian tube, or you can say oviduct. So the zygote divides repeatedly to give rise to a ball of cells. This zygote then further divide this single cell into 2 cells, then after 4 cells, and it will make the ball of cells. And these cells then begin to form groups that develop into the different tissues and organs of the body. Then after these groups of these cells will further develop and it will form the tissues, and these different tissues will form the organs of the body. And this developing structure is termed as the embryo. So this is known as the embryo. And the embryo gets embedded, or you can say fixed, in the wall of uterus for further development. Here it is shown to you. This one is the uterus wall and this one is the developing embryo. So this developing embryo gets fixed in the uterus wall. And the embryo continues the development in the uterus, and it gradually develops the body parts such as hands, legs, head, eyes, ears, etc. And the stage of the embryo in which all the body parts can be identified is called the foetus. The stage in which we can identify all the different parts of the body, that is known as the foetus. So here you can see this one is the uterus, and here we can identify all the body parts. So this one is known as the foetus. And when the development of the foetus is complete, the mother gives birth to the baby. After then complete development, the mother gives birth to the baby. In internal fertilization take place in hens also, but do hen give birth to babies like human beings and cows? You know that they do not give birth like human beings and cows. Then how are the chicks born? So now let me find. Soon after fertilization, the zygote divides repeatedly and travels down the oviduct. Zygotes divide and it travels in the oviduct, and as it travels down, many protective layers are formed around this zygote in the hen. And the hard shell that you see in the hen's egg, white outer shell which we can see in the hen's egg, is one of such kind of protective layer which is developed when this zygote travel in the oviduct. And after the hard shell is formed around the developing embryo, the hen finally lays egg. After the hard shell formed around the embryo, the hen lay the egg, and this embryo took around 3 weeks to develop into a chick. And you must have seen that the hen is sitting on the eggs to provide sufficient warmth. So now do you know that the development of chick take place inside the eggshell during this period? When the hen is sitting on the egg, during this period the development of chick take place in the eggshell. And after the chick is completely developed, it bursts and opens the eggshell. So this is how the chick borns in the case of hens. And in animals which undergo the external fertilization, the development of the embryo take place outside the female body. And the embryos continues to grow within their egg coverings, and after the embryo develops, the egg is hatched. And you must have seen the numerous tadpoles swimming in the ponds and streams. So there is also external fertilization take place. So this is about the fertilization, sexual fertilization in the animals, or sexual reproduction in the animals. Now the remaining part we will study in the next video. Thank you.